Generations to come will scarce believe that such a one as this ever walked upon this earth. He was Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Today, if Gandhiji were to go round the country, what would he see and feel? 1969, the centenary of his birth. 2 trains, one from Amritsar and another from Rameshwaram, carry the message of the Mahatma. As the train traverses the plains of Punjab, it brings to mind the tragedy of Jallianwala Bagh, 1919, of the brave patriots who laid down their lives. From the ashes of yesterday is born the new Punjab and Haryana of today. A land of plenty, the granary of India. Our salvation can only come through the farmer, said Gandhiji. Their prosperity alone can make India a country fit to live in. Hundreds wait to see and read the message of the Mahatma. Many of us have never seen his beaming face in life, the face that moved the hearts of millions. He was born at Porbandar in 1869. His father, Karamchand, was a brave and truthful man. Putlibai, his mother, was a deeply religious woman. From his parents, in early childhood, he learnt his first lessons in truth, love, and ahimsa. He learnt never to fear anything save fear itself. These became his guiding stars throughout his life. Young Gandhi went to London to qualify as a barrister. Gandhi, the barrister, went to try his luck in South Africa. His experience there and the plight of his countrymen moved him deeply. That transformed an astute lawyer into a selfless satyagrahi and a leader of men. The second train from Rameshwaram travels through Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Mysore, and Andhra Pradesh. This exhibition on wheels is witness to the new India. In the country's reconstruction, Gandhiji did not rule out large industries and public utilities. He said, "I have not contemplated, much less advised, the abandonment of a single life-giving industrial activity. Machinery has its place. It has come to stay, but it must not be allowed to displace human labor." Nothing short of complete independence from Britain could heal the festering wounds inflicted upon the Indian people. With this in view, Gandhiji gave a call for complete non-cooperation at the Congress session held in Calcutta in 1920. This revives memories of the Mahatma's associations with the great leaders of Bengal. Gurudev Tagore, a kindred spirit. C.R. Das, a great patriot. Subhash Chandra Bose, the stormy petrel. Noakhali, 1946. In the raging fire of Hindu-Muslim antagonism walked the saint, barefooted, to wipe every tear from every eye. Let us forget all thoughts of I am Hindu, you are Muslim. Let us sink I and mine in a common Indian nationality. The need of the moment is mutual respect and tolerance. Today, we hang our heads in shame. Where have all those ideals gone? 1917, the first triumph in India of Gandhiji's unique weapon, Satyagraha, non-violent civil disobedience. Non-violence is never a method of coercion. It is a method of conversion. Gandhiji was a practical idealist, striving constantly for the India of his dreams. He said, "When Hindustan rings with the echoes of Swadeshi, when Swadeshi pervades the country, and when the Swadeshi mantra resounds in every ear, millions of men will have in their hands the key to the economic salvation of India." It is only through self-reliance that India can gain self-respect. Swadeshi is today bringing new changes all over the country under the 5-year plans. Village uplift was Gandhiji's first freedom. If the village perishes, India will perish too. If the 7 lakh villages of India are to be kept alive, and if peace, that is the root of all civilization, is to be achieved, we have to make the spinning wheel the center of all handicrafts. To him, the charkha was the symbol of Swaraj. Swaraj through self-reliance. And the revival of village industries was but an extension of the Khadi effort. Gandhiji's program of village uplift included everything that promoted the well-being of the villagers: health, education, sanitation, Panchayati Raj. By education, I mean an all-round drawing out of the best in child and man, body, mind and spirit. A self-governing, self-reliant village, trading chiefly with nearby self-sufficient villages and importing a minimum of complicated appliances, was Gandhiji's recipe for democracy in India. Always his aim was Sarvodaya, the welfare of all, to be achieved through a peaceful revolution based on consent, not coercion. Bapu was the embodiment of love. Always his motto was, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Gujarat, Gandhiji's and Sardar Patel's home state. Sabarmati Ashram, the scene of many momentous events. The famous Dandi March. It was a battle of right against might. Always a friend of the downtrodden, Gandhiji woke the women of India. I believe in the proper education of the women of India. Woman is the companion of man, gifted with equal mental capacities. She has the same right of freedom and liberty as he. India's salvation depends on the sacrifice and the enlightenment of her women. in the cooperative way of life. We shall not derive the full benefits of agriculture until we take to cooperative farming. Bombay, the gateway of India. August 1942. Quit India. Gandhiji demanded nothing less than freedom and gave to the nation the clarion call, do or die. Bombay's skyline has changed over the years. Industry and science have made rapid progress. But there is still poverty in the midst of plenty. Want and ignorance abound. Delhi, capital of India. The Bhangi colony, where Gandhiji often stayed. The cause of Harijans was dear to Bapu's heart, for he regarded all men as brothers and all India as his family. Untouchability is a sin. It is a grievous crime. On God's earth, nobody is low and nobody is high. Birth and observance of form cannot determine one's superiority or inferiority. He battled ceaselessly against untouchability. But he knew untouchability will not be removed by force, even of law. It can only be removed when the majority of Hindus realize that it is a crime against God and man and are ashamed of it. This blot on our society remains even today. The spirit of non-violence enlightened the world. But in the country from which it sprang, violence, hatred, strife prevailed. Let the light of that spirit not flicker and die. Let the voice of a nation not cry out. The light has gone out of our lives, and there is darkness everywhere.